G'day guys, what's cracking? Ralph here, and thanks for joining me. If you want to be part of this creative crew, subscribe below and give us a thumbs up. Be super stoked with that. There's a video that comes out on Tuesdays, a video that comes out on Saturdays, and it's all about expanding your creativity in photography. So join me for that. Now today we're talking surf photography, and let me show you the intro I tried to go with. G'day guys, what's cracking? Is Ralph here, and today I want to talk to you about how you take photography of the surf. The problem is it's blowing a gale, it's not too friendly, so we're going to go back to the studio to talk about what I just did here. Oh, the irony. Woof! I know. Stick around though, because at the end of this video, I'm going to tell you the one word that you need to grab hold of if you want to take epic surf photography. But before we get into that, we need to look at the settings, we need to look at the gear, and we need to look at the conditions. Got plenty of footage to show you and plenty of images, so it'll feel like you're there. When you start out in surf photography, there's some things you need to do, and the first thing is get a lens. Now, the lens I use is the beast. This is the Tamron 150 to 600. Look at it. And when you extend this puppy out full blown with the lens guard on, it's a bazooka. Now, this means I can actually capture the eye color of a surfer as they're surfing, all the way through to framing a nice landscape shot with it. But I'll talk about that in due course. You don't need one this big. I picked this up for I think it was 1,200, might have been 1,000 Australian dollars. I'll put some links in the description below. It's always good though. Secret insider tip. I know this doesn't help my Amazon affiliate thing, but get it secondhand. Or search around, because there's a big variation on these lenses. They're amazing. How is that for a screen grab? It's enormous, isn't it? Oh my gosh. So once you've got your lens, then you need to wait for the right conditions. Now, obviously you need to be near the surf. And so this video will cut out a bunch of my audience who right now are going, oh, I'd love to do that, but I live inland, whether it's in the States or India or UK or wherever. Thank you guys for being part of this journey and for putting up with this video today. I hope that it will pump you up to get closer to the sea. So first of all, your surf needs to be about 8 foot. Surf usually across the world is measured in feet, and so if it's 8 foot, that's big. Right? Now I'm 5'10", so 8 foot's massive, and you've got a swell that goes with that too. So when it starts to get around 8 foot, it's like game on. It's worth going down and checking out. So first of all, 8 foot-ish. If it's more than 8 foot, rush down there right now. Then you're looking at wind. What's a good wind speed? Well, 10 knots gives a bit of like spray off the top of the waves. It creates a bit of barreling, but also it doesn't wash it out. If the wind is too strong, they'll close the beaches so the surfers can't go, which is what happened when I tried to do my intro. The wind will destroy the beauty of the wave formation, and it'll look like a washing machine, total dog's breakfast. So be careful of the wind. Is the wind appropriate to what we want? And then you've got wind direction, and depending on where you shoot in the world will depend on what the best wind is. If you want to know, go talk to a surfer. I've got a few mates that are surfers, and so I had a chat to them about the Burley break, the Burley Point, where I do a lot of my surf photography. It's this beautiful way where when the waves come in, they're backlit by the sun. It's like, whoo, come on. And so I asked a few of my mates what they reckon the best is. They said the best is a westerly. If you get a westerly, it's game on. It means the sea is really smooth, it's clean, the waves are just cut well and just look epic. So westerly is ideal, but Gold Coast generally, which is where I live in the beautiful part of this world, you can handle a southwesterly, a southerly, or a southeasterly. What you do not want is a northerly. So it's a northerly, just forget it, because it will not form the waves in a way that people will enjoy and get out there, and in which you can take some epic photographs. All right, let's talk about settings. So you perch there, what do you use? Well, some people will say use a tripod. The challenge with a tripod is that the waves are changing constantly. Their formation is different. They stagger themselves at different points, and surfers need to adapt to those conditions, so they're not always where you want. So if you use a tripod, you will limit yourself to a certain part of real estate in the ocean. So my advice is to freehand it.
pick up the beast, 2 kilos, stick your 1 kilo body on, build the guns, and get out there, because it gives you so much more versatility, and you can follow them in, put a strap on, and when you shoot, have 3 points of contact. So your 2 hands, and stick that eye thing right up to your eye globe so it's nice and tucked in, and that will stabilize it. Then what you want to do is turn on the vibration reduction on your lens. If you're shooting ever with a tripod, do not put vibration reduction on. But if you are shooting freehand, use vibration reduction. It will mean the camera and the lens will work for you in keeping that shot nice and stable. Next, I usually put it on shutter priority. I know. All those photographers out there are like, you do what? It's so much easier. Because if I set my shutter priority to about 1,000, which captures the action, you can go 1250 if you like. You can even go lower to 800, but I'd recommend about 1,000 on shutter priority. It will adjust the aperture based on the light, and the light changes all the time in surf photography. Because if a surfer is in the barrel, it's darker than if he's on top. It's darker than if he's got some air, some launching into the stratosphere. It also means if they go into a darker patch of the wave, the camera adjusts without throwing off the light. So to pair up with that, so we've got 1,000 shutter speed, we've got shutter priority, and then I use auto ISO. ISO, because when you shoot surf photography, it usually happens in the day, at least when the sun's come up, and as that happens, there's not a massive fluctuation of light. So auto ISO naturally puts your ISO on a low ISO, which is where you want it to prevent noise, but it also gives you the ability to bump up and down depending on the light exposure that the camera's picking up based on where you go. Then you want to put it on continuous shutter speed. That means wherever you point that little red dot or that little red box inside your viewfinder, it will continually adjust the focus accordingly. So when you lock onto a surfer, that surfer is moving and moving towards you, and as he's moving towards you, you want to be focusing in on that and capturing him as he comes closer and closer to you. I then, on my camera, which is a Nikon Z6, I bump it up to a really high frame rate. And so what that means is when the surfer launches down the wave, I can drop the shutter and now the beauty of this is there's a story that takes place as the surfer catches a wave right from the top of the wave and slides down the wall, and then if you're lucky they do a few, like, what are they things? They go whoosh, whoosh. And as they do that, and then they can even get some air and get launched off the wave, you don't want to miss any moment of that. You would rather choose from the 20 moments of that you've grabbed rather than going, oh, I finished short. I should have just pressed it again, or click. Oh no, something's happened. Gotta wait. Click. Oh, gotta wait. Click for the camera to process the images. So if you can put it on a high frame rate, I would suggest you do that. And as I hinted about before, a single focus point is the one to select. So you don't want the matrix that just picks up wherever, and you also don't want it too wide. You want it nice and snug and fit on that surfer. I usually then put it center, and as it's centered, I then track the surfers. And that gives you some ability to move and shift around with them and frame the shot differently. Now, if the waves are really big, like they're 12 foot and they're spanking, and you've got these guys flying down the face of this thing and they're looking tiny and the waves looking massive, first of all, you can't shoot at 600, right? You've got to reel it back so you're knocking it at around 200, and then I would drop my focus point to the bottom, because that's where the surfer's going to be if this tall, massive wall of water is just surging over the top of him. So you have to think, what's the best composition of a surfer in a wave depending on the size of the wave and the agility of the surfer. Now, let's get to that all-important word that you need to maintain and hold on to and grasp and cherish every single surf photography shot, and here it is. You waiting on the edge of the seat? Drama. Surf photography is all about the drama. People want to be drawn into the drama and the excitement and the adrenaline of it. Like, oh my gosh! Even when you pull it right back and you're taking a landscape, you want to help people feel like they're there. A sense of like, oh, that is just glorious. Wow, I want to move toward that right now. So that word is drama. And there's 3 ways I've found to capture drama in the context of surf photography. And the first is the landscape method. So the landscape method, where you're taking more of a landscape photograph of a large wave and a surfer on it or near it. And this will make more sense as I move in to the other elements of what is required in capturing the drama for surf photography. The next is the context, and the context is the wave that they're on. And so we're going to zoom in more. So if we took that at 150, those shots at 150, we're now going to zoom in to about 300. And at 300 mils, you get to see the context of the surfer on the wave, and what you're looking for is the beauty of the wave breaking, the color in the water, the positioning of the surfer, the trail of the surf board that leans up the wave wall. You want to grab a few of those things into contention. I've got a mate of mine that seems to always be able to shoot a dolphin. What? How does that happen? Never happens to me. It happened to me once and I botched it. Anyway, you want the drama of the context. So not the landscape, but the context. And then the final method for surf photography for capturing the drama is the hero shot. It's of the surfer. And the hero shot really comes into its own when either it's someone famous or it's someone doing what you think, oh, that is just incredible, the move he's put on when he's cut back and sprayed that through, or he's tearing down the face of a wave, or my personal favorite, I love this, the aerials. You just love a good aerial surfer when they just go, I'm just gonna fly, I'm just going to launch. I'm just going to take off into the unknown. Catch me if you can. And it's game on for photographers. And all that, having said all of that, then you got to practice. The more practice you get, the better you get. The more sharp your images get, the more classy, the more drama you're able to capture, the more familiar you get with your settings so you can play with them based on the day. I hope you've gained heaps. If you've got any questions, put them in the comments below. And I would just say practice, 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 subscribe, like, watch me in the next video. Bye. Problem with a tripod, right, is you should see the intro we tried for this video. Here it is.